The Code of Ethics and Conduct for the Media Ombudsman in Schedule 2 provides for the appointment procedures for the Media Ombudsman. Remember, the Media Ombudsman is appointed by the Editors Forum of Namibia as the appointing authority. And there's a provision that calls upon the officials, the Secretary General of the EFN, to publicize, as was done in the local newspapers or also the radios and other platforms currently, to call for the nominations, public nominations. I want to stress public nominations for the appointment of the Media Ombudsman, but not just for the Media Ombudsman, but also for the supporting standing committees. Because remember, in terms of our self-regulatory media, self-regulatory system prescribed by the Code of Ethics and Conduct, we've got the Media Ombudsman that primarily enforce the Code of Ethics and Conduct. But the code also provides for what we call the Media Complaints Committee, a group of 5 people nominated from the general public and from media practitioners that would from time to time be convened by the Media Ombudsman to address so-called difficult cases which he or she feels that he or she doesn't want to adjudicate over this matter alone. During my time, for example, I had 3 such cases that I've referred to the Media Complaints Committee. But also, in addition to the Media Ombudsman and the Media Complaints Committee, there is also the Media Appeals Committee. As the word indicates, whatever ruling made by the Media Ombudsman or the Media Complaints Committee, for that matter, can always be appealed within 7 days after the ruling to the Media Appeals Committee. So the procedure for the Media Ombudsman, the Media Appeals Committee, or the Media Complaints Committee is that members of the public nominate whoever they want to serve in any one of these 3 structures, and or a person, for whatever reason, may also nominate him or herself, and then provide a motivation as to why he or she regards him or herself as the appropriate person to be appointed in any one of these structures. And maybe I can already ask, I've seen one of your questions in terms of the criteria. I'll use this opportunity to also explain the code makes very clear and specific, lays very clear and specific requirements. 1, the Media Ombudsman must be a Namibian national, Namibian citizen. The Media Ombudsman, in the words of the code, must be a person of high integrity. And then the Media Ombudsman must have a certain level of administrative skills, because you will receive complaints. These complaints must be filed. At the end of the day, there must be record kept, and these complaints must be available on the website of the Media Ombudsman. So in a nutshell, that is and what I've tried to explain, the procedures applicable for the appointment of the Media Ombudsman.
So what mechanisms are in place to ensure their independence from political and corporate interest?
We don't really have so-called mechanisms in place, but as the word indicates, it's a self-regulatory system that we are having. Self-regulatory in the sense that the Media Ombudsman is not part of the government structure. So in other words, the Media Ombudsman does not report to politicians. Remember, and the office of the Media Ombudsman is established under the rubric of the right to freedom of the press and freedom of the media. And freedom of the media presupposes that journalists and editors and those ones in the media space operate without any political influence and so forth. And it is in this context that the Editors Forum of Namibia have established this independent entity. And I want to stress, even though the Media Ombudsman is appointed by the Editors Forum of Namibia, it operates also independently from the Editors Forum of Namibia. And I can attest over these 7 years and 10 months that I've served as the country's media ombudsman, I've not received any pressure, whether directly or indirectly, from the EFN as the appointing authority, and neither did I receive any pressure from the government of the Republic of Namibia to try and influence the outcomes of whatever case. And also lastly, with reference to economic pressure, because obviously we are not just concerned about political pressures and political influence, but in a way, as you've alluded to, there may also be economic pressures that may want to influence the decisions. But I can also say during my reign, there's not been any one of this sort. As to the mechanisms, there's no mechanism. The only thing that one can bank on is the fact that the person that is appointed, it's not just that the institution of the Media Ombudsman must be independent, but it is also personal independence, because you may have an institution that is independent in terms of the law. The incumbent is not independent in his or her thinking and even behavior. So this is the so-called true independence that we're talking about. So it is not just institutional independence, but it's also personal independence that is of critical importance.